Hello, everyone, and welcome to week number 7 for HRL Forza Elantra series. Last week, we were racing at the Brickyard Oval, and we saw some great racing and some of the closest finishes that we've had in our series since we started racing on Forza. And now this week, we're at Road Atlanta, and you might remember Road Atlanta, the short circuit from the MX5 Grand Final. This time, we're racing the full circuit. Should be fun. So here we go. We're going green, and we're following the pole sitter, Matt, and see if he can get through turn 1 cleanly. So watch closely here. Going to be on the brakes, probably coasting right about now. And it looks like he's going to do it. Slaunch really close with the exit rumble right there. You got to be careful for that turn 1 exit rumble. I promise you, it is one of the most treacherous parts of the track. It may not seem that way. Most exit rumbles on most tracks are there to help you, like help you maintain momentum, help you stay on the track. For some reason, that turn 1 exit rumble on this track is the complete opposite. It is the complete opposite. It is there to fool you. It is there to bait you into like thinking you'll hit it and stay on the track, and then you hit it and you lose all control, you lose all traction. Suddenly you're in the grass, suddenly you're spinning out and losing a ton of lap time. I don't know why it is like that, but for some reason that is the way it is. There's a couple other rumbles that are a little weird on this track, but for some reason that one is the main one that you have to be really, really careful for. So. And I think we could even see that with Slaunch on that first lap as well. Like when he got close to it, it looked like he got a little spooked. It looked like he was trying really hard to keep it on track because he probably remembers that from the last time that we raced. And he probably had instances in the MX-5 where he got too wide there and too close to that exit rumble and spun out and didn't have a good time. So definitely something to look out for. And something else to look out for is Armada, I guess. Whoa, what the hell was that? All right, let's go back. Take a look. What the... Oh, big contact right there. I don't know what happened to Armada. Lost his brakes. We're going to have to get like a post-race in the comments interview. I don't know if he lost one of the nuggets from the biggie bag. Maybe it got jammed in the brake line. I'm not sure exactly what happened right there. But we're definitely going to have to get some explanation. That's what I'm going with. I bet that's probably what he's going to go with too. But we'll see if he has anything else to say or any other explanation in the comments. I don't know. But either way, one of the biggest pieces of contact that we've seen in our season. And here we go, 3 wide. What the hell? 3 wide battle for second. Detail, Roman, and Slaunch. And these guys have had really close battles when they're all racing, like all season long. It feels like these guys have had some really competitive battles. And it's looking like that's picking up right where it left off here on Road Atlanta. They're all super close with each other. Wow, Slaunch with a big run to the outside right there. And it looks like, yeah, they're picking right back up, and they're going to hopefully battle for this entire race. And we have Luke lurking behind right now, too. Got away from the Armada and Coupe cheese fest back there, whatever was going on between them, and is now catching up to this pack and getting involved in this battle. Yep, already to the bumper of Slaunch. So it's going to be a 4-way battle for second already. Yeah, this is going to be a good race. Road Atlanta heating up already barely like on the second lap here. And we're having a 4-wide race for second. Or sorry, not 4-wide, but 4-way race for second. It might go 4-wide. We'll watch and see here. No, it's going to be double 2-wide all the way into this downhill. One of my favorite parts of the track. Here we go into the chicane. And honestly, pretty good. Pretty good. Nice and clean. That for double 2-wide, expected some more cheese. Well, a little bit of contact, a little bit of cheese there with Luke and Slaunch. But for the most part, that was actually pretty clean. Expected it to be a lot worse. So good job, everyone. We'll see if that continues throughout the race. Meanwhile, yeah, you can't even really see him in the distance. Our pole sitter Matt has really checked out. He's super far in front, and he's taking advantage of all this battle action. He had a really good qualifying time. The only driver that qualified that was able to get into the 129s, and yeah, he's clearly showing that he's got the pace from that qual right now. And he's trying to build as big of a gap as he possibly can to give himself the best advantage that he possibly can have for the rest of this race. And so far, so good. You take a look at the ticker that we now have up on the top left. And yeah, it looks like he's got almost a 5-second gap, hopefully trying to stretch it to a 5-second gap on Roman right now. And then again, like obviously everybody in this pack is really close with each other. But yeah, that gap is looking really good so far. Unfortunately, Coupe and Armada with those earlier incidents have dropped back a little bit. Hopefully they can regain. We'll see. But yeah, it's looking like a really close battle for second. and it's going to be tough for any of these guys to catch up to Matt. We'll see if they're able to do it. but they do have the whole entire race to do it. We do have a lot of time left. This is a 12-lap race, which may not seem like a lot. And yeah, like for a lot of our races this season, yeah, it's not. But you got to remember that it's a 12-lap race with a 1.5-minute long lap time and then some. Like with the tires that these guys are running in the race compared to qualifying, average lap times are probably going to range from like 131 to like 134. If you're on hards, maybe even like 136, like somewhere in that range, like 130 to like 136 is going to be like the range of lap time that these guys are running. So 12 laps on, you know, that long of a lap time, that's actually like quite a long race. You add in the pit stop as well. Yeah, there's a lot of racing here at Road Atlanta. And on the back half of the season, that's kind of what we did with this season. So like the beginning portion of the season had a lot of the short tracks, and a lot of the stuff that we're like used to racing in the MX-5s. The earlier portion of the season had a lot of those tracks, and it was all about like easing our way into trying the more like full length racetracks. So yeah, like if you go back and look at a lot of the earlier portion of the season, so he tries to get around Roman here for a second. You'll notice that there was a lot of those tracks early on. Well, right about this like halfway portion of the season, last week with Brickyard, obviously the Brickyard Oval is massive, and now this week with Road Atlanta, and next week with Road America, the tracks are getting way bigger. The tracks are getting way bigger, and obviously, you know, the lap times will be a lot longer. So yeah, it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different. There's gonna be a lot more racetrack to learn, right? A lot more practice to put in, a lot more racetrack to learn, and we'll see how everybody handles it. See if the racing still stays pretty good with the differences in the tracks in this like back portion of the regular season. Because again, yeah, like outside of now that we swapped Eagle Rock around, outside of like Eagle Rock when we race that, obviously it's short track oval. This entire like back half of the season is just loaded with a lot of those like massive tracks that we didn't really see early on. Also, not to mention Laguna Seca. Laguna Seca is the season closer, and Laguna Seca, I believe, is like a similar lap time. I think it might be I want to say it's a bit longer than this track's lap time. I might be wrong on that. I'm not sure. I think it's pretty close, though. I think this and Laguna are pretty similar in lap time. It's launched with a mistake right there. Detail going to try to make some gains off that. But yeah, I think they're pretty similar. But either way, this track, Laguna, Road America, Indy, they're all just like way bigger than what we were racing earlier in the season. So you're probably going to see fewer laps, right? Again, this track was 12-lap race. You know, Homestead, what was it, like the mid 20s? Like we're getting close to 30, I want to say, for laps, something like that. But for Brickyard, it wasn't even quite to 20. It was like 18 laps for Brickyard. Again, like Laguna is probably around the same laps as this race. Road America next week is only planned to be an 8-lap race, which doesn't seem like, you know, 8 laps doesn't seem like a lot, but the lap times on there, remember the lap times on this track are 1.5 minutes a lap. The lap times on Road America are 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So no, it's going to be a perfectly fine long race. Like it's going to be a perfectly like normal race length, despite the fact that it is an 8-lap race. So yeah, I'm curious to see how it goes. And I'm curious to hear from the drivers as well and see how they handle it. Because it was one of those things where I definitely wanted to, you know, there's more legit racetracks. Like we raced mostly like short versions of the big tracks and stuff like that in the MX-5s. And, you know, I wanted to get to like more of the legit racetracks, like the actual like full-length racetracks this season. But I wanted to kind of like ease into it as well, which is kind of why we constructed the schedule the way that it was, with like having a lot of those familiar tracks and a lot of those short tracks returning early on, and then, you know, back half getting to these tracks and trying to like kind of ease everybody into it. So yeah, as this portion of the schedule continues, we'll definitely, you know, hear from everybody and curious how everybody likes it. It seems so far so good though, because like Watkins Glen was another one of those tracks, and Watkins Glen was a pretty fun race. Brickyard Oval was awesome, and so far so good for Road Atlanta. So far so good for the full circuit here. But yeah, so that finishes that thought. Let's get back to the race. We're about halfway through right here, and I think it's a good time to start talking about the strategy at this point. So Matt and Luke up front are both running the hards. So they're going to be going to the softs, and they're probably going to be pitting around the same time. Opix was not here for this night, and Opix is like, the guaranteed like medium guy. Like, he's going to run the double meads. He pretty much has stuck with that like damn near the entire season. So that switches up the strategy a bit for this race, not having him here. Because I'm not sure if there's that many people. I don't think there's that many people going for it. Like, maybe Armada pitting right now. Maybe Armada went for it. I think Roman actually might have started on the softs. Yeah, it looks like Roman already pit, but I think he might have started on the softs. I think maybe Armada did mediums, but he just pit a little bit late. But yeah, so not as many drivers doing that strategy. It looks like a lot of the drivers in this field and in this moto are leaning towards the hards to softs strategies. So the interesting thing will be with most of the drivers on that same strategy will be the pit lap, because you do have a bit of an option. I think a lot of drivers are going to be pitting around like lap 8. I think that's when a lot of drivers are going to be pitting, but you do have the option of pitting a little bit early, getting on those softs earlier, and trying to like undercut somebody. Now obviously you will pay quite the price later in the race, because the tire wear is pretty brutal on those softs. It doesn't last very long, and you're going to be slow. And look at this. Detail goes for it. Detail goes for it. So he's going to be the guy to go for it. I feel like this is the type of strategy that in the MX-5s when we had Deej racing, I feel like he would, on the road courses, I feel like he would do this a lot of the time. But yeah, Detail is pitting a lap early on that hards to soft schedule to try to get on those softs early, and maybe like jump Slauncher Roman by getting on that better tire earlier. So he's gonna try to. I believe he was behind Slaunch when he went into the pits. Pay attention to Detail. Oh, it looks like Coop did it too. Pay attention to Detail and Slaunch when Slaunch ends up pitting, and see how that ends up. Because again, I believe Slaunch was in front of him, and Detail is hoping that swaps and that he'll be in front of Slaunch when this cycles out. Now, again, like I said, you do pay a price later in the race. On the last lap, Detail's tires are going to be absolutely shot, and it's going to be really interesting to see if he can hold onto that gap that early pit has earned him. This is the stuff that's interesting, though, with the Forza stuff, because, again, like the Halo stuff, we had fun, like in Indie Hog. I liked the pit strategy that we had for Indie Hog. I think that was the most fun one that we had, because it was the closest one to, like, giving us some sort of, like, tire strategy. But you still, like, can't beat, like, having the actual, like, tire wear and strategy and multiple compounds of tires that we actually have access to in this game. You can't beat that stuff. So really, really fun for me, and really, really nice to see those strategies still play out. And here you go. That's a big pass right there for Detail. Gets around Roman. That's huge. He needed to make that pass, and he needed to make that pass quickly for this to work out. So, and we just saw Matt, Luke, and Slaunch all in the pits, all on schedule. So let's follow Detail and Roman here and see how the blend is. Unsurprisingly, yeah, Matt and Luke had a pretty big gap. They're going to be way in front, but it looks like it worked out. It looks like Detail did get ahead of Slaunch, and wow, gained a lot of time on him too. Look at that. It's like a 4-second gap now. So Slaunch has a 4-second gap to get like all the way to Roman, and then he's got to pass Roman, and then he's got to pass Detail. So that is a pretty massive gap. It's going to be hard for him to make that up. But again, on the bright side, he has the better compounded tire than both of them. I think Roman is running the end of this race on hards. And again, Detail is on the softs, which is the same as Slaunch, but his tires are going to be way worse in the last lap. So this would be really interesting to see how this plays out. I think we're going to have a battle for the lead, and I think we're going to have that 3-way battle for third. I think we're going to have that continue. So this should be a really, really good closer to the Road Atlanta race. This has been pretty typical for how most of our races go this season, which is a lot of action early on, and then, the tire strategies take over, people separate a little bit, they get into their own groove, and then, things converge again at the end of the race when everything, like, comes full circle with strategies and stuff like that. That's been the typical pace of, like, our racing in this series, and it looks like that's continuing here for this race at Road Atlanta. I gotta say, I'm loving watching the full circuit as well. I really love the short circuit for this track too, but man, this full circuit, you can't beat it. The main difference is, turn number 5, which is coming up here after these S's. it is this turn right here. This turn is super treacherous and super important, and you do not get that turn in the short circuit, so it's a lot of fun being able to race that turn. And then you've got these couple of right-handers here, and then obviously the long circuit massively extends that long straightaway into the downhill chicane. And I love having that extra straightaway because like the big run that you can get out of this previous corner here, you have all that time, all that extra time to like carry on and take advantage of that big run that you're hoping for. And then you also get more draft. So you just get like way like just more massive runs going into that downhill. And it's so exciting to see like massive draft battle runs into a downhill, into like a tight chicane. Like it's such a, I don't know, it's such an obviously like treacherous part of the track, the way it's like laid out, but it's just like, it's so much fun. Yeah, love this layout, and I'm glad that we're finally racing the full thing on this game. But here we go. We're going to 2 laps to go. We're in crunch time right now, and yeah, looks like things are getting interesting. Detail still has the advantage on Roman and Slaunch, but it's not a huge advantage. It's not a huge advantage. It's only a second, maybe like a second and a half on Roman. And again, like his tires are going to go to absolute shit on the last lap. It's going to be horrible. I promise you, it's going to be really bad. So even though he has that advantage, it's not, he's probably still going to have to do some blocking. He's probably still going to have to do some blocking. I don't think it's enough of a gap for him to be safe. And right now, Slaunch is already putting pressure on Roman. He's putting a lot of pressure on Roman. Whoa! Some skid marks. Let's see what happened right there. Oh, that was close. That was close. A little bit of contact. Really close racing. And what is this? We have a replay here. Oh, no. Detail makes a crucial mistake at this point in the race. And like I was saying, that gap, I don't think that gap was enough. But with the hard racing between Slaunch and Roman, and if Detail didn't make that mistake right there, it might have been enough. Like that little bit of help, that might have been enough. But now that he made that mistake, the race is back on. The race is back on. It is a straight-up 3-way battle again for this podium spot. Let's see who can take it. Again, it's been great battles for this podium spot all season, and all of these guys want it. Like Detail missed last week. He would love to get a podium here. Roman has been, in contention for these positions like the entire season. He would love to get another one. And Slaunch has really picked up the pace and picked up the heat in the back half of the season. Like the first couple of weeks, it felt like he was struggling to figure it out a little bit. But recently, he's gotten on a bit of a roll, and he's picked up a ton of those podiums. So he definitely would love to get another one. And I'm sure he feels confident that he can. They're too wide into turn 1. The battle for the lead is also on. We're probably going to have to look at a replay for the third place battle, because the battle for the lead is on. And we've gotten used to seeing this. Matt and Luke having a lot of these last lap battles in these Moto 1s. And it looks like we're going to have another one here. And Matt's actually taken a few of these. He got a Moto win. He got a Moto win at Hockenheim. He got a Moto win at Watkins Glen. So he's gotten a couple of these wins under his belt. Let's see if he can maybe do another one here. He does have the advantage, but Luke is right there on the bumper. And this is where things get tricky. This run into this long straightaway, it's going to be super important, because I think this is like the last passing opportunity. Luke needs to try to go for this move into that chicane. If he doesn't make the pass by that chicane, I don't think there's really an opportunity to make a pass to the line. I just don't think there's enough time to do it. There's not enough like braking or lifting. It's just not going to happen. So this is it right here. This is the race right here. And understandably, you see the big blocks coming from Matt, because he knows that this is the race right here. He needs to try to hold on to the spot. A little bit of grass is getting super close. Here we go into the braking zone. Luke did get to the inside. Can Matt set up the crossover? He goes for it. He dips into the grass a little bit, but does not get the run off the corner that he was hoping for. Here we go into the downhill, into the final corner, and it looks like Luke will take it. Matt gonna take second. Oh, that's a brutal way to lose it, but it was so close. And like I said, they've had so many of these close last lap battles the entire season. And yeah, unfortunately, Matt went for those blocks, but wasn't able to completely hold off the move into the chicane. And like I said, it was a tough spot to be in, because you have that massive draft. If you're in second in that situation, you have that massive draft and you have that massive run going into the corner. So Luke is always going to have a big run going into the corner. I think Matt went for the move that he needed to do, which was like the crossover, but just didn't work out. It just didn't, wasn't as good of a run off of it that he was hoping to have. But that was a great race for the win. Now let's focus in on this podium battle. And that was a really rogue move from Roman right there. is going to make that send into turn 5. I get why he went for it, because again, like you can tell, Detail's tires are definitely like screwed at this point. But yeah, that was a pretty rogue move still. But now Slaunch on the inside of Roman, he wants that 3rd place. Could he go from 5th to 3rd on the last lap side by side? He might be able to do so. He's going to clear Roman, but Roman will still have the draft, and Detail needs to stay close because these guys are cheesy. They've had a lot of run-ins this season. They've had a lot of close moments. They have been known to cheese each other late in the race. So if you're Detail, try to stay close and try to keep that door open, because you never know. With these two battling for the podium in the last lap, it might not be over. Big blocks. Slaunch protected that inside. Roman runs out of room, goes into the sand. That's going to be it for him. Slaunch clutches it up. 2 passes on the last lap and the defense as well. And he's going to take that podium after a crazy race for that podium. And Roman barely is going to hold on to 4th. And yeah, Detail just almost close enough, but just quite wasn't able to get it. Getting some replays of this here. Yeah, for Detail, it was that mistake in turn 5. If he didn't make that mistake, he probably could have taken the podium. I think 4th at least for sure. But honestly, probably could have held on to the podium. But yeah, right there, another replay. Just side by side, close, great racing between Slaunch and Roman just full sending it and just running out of room. He had to go for it. He had to go for some type of move. But yeah, I don't think it was a Slaunch over defense or anything. I think Roman was just not going to make that corner. But I think he was committed to it. I think he didn't care. I think he was just full sending, and either it stuck or it didn't. And you know, obviously it didn't, but it was the move that he made to try to make that podium happen. And then rounding it out, Coop going to take 6th, and Armada will come home 7th. Wow. That was a wild race, and yeah, I'm loving these road course races. We just had the oval race. The oval race was awesome too. But man, the Elantras are delivering with these road course races. Like every time, bro, crazy win battle, crazy podium battle. It's happening like every race, like every single race. And it's so much fun to watch. Hope you guys are enjoying it too. And we'll see you for Moto 2.